Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Treat Studios Goosebumps Wave 1. Now, I read Goosebump books as a kid. I wasn't really scared of them, but they were pretty good reads. I remember being up late at night in the dark with a flashlight, reading the Goosebumps books, and I remember a lot of these in particular. Especially the dummy and the kid with a mask. So I saw these at Walmart a few weeks ago, and they were $24.99 each, and they look kind of basic and crappy and kind of small, so it seems like they're grossly overpriced. So I ended up putting them all back. And a few weeks later, I happened to be at the same Walmart, and they were all still there. Had some cash on me. I thought, yeah, what the hell. So I picked them up. Let's check them out. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. And they're kind of designed like books. So each one has a similar type packaging. Kind of looks like an R.L. Stine book. Trick or Treat, Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, Goosebumps. This is book number 5, Goosebumps, The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb by R.L. Stine. On the back, here's the entire first wave. Barcode, if that helps. And not much going on the bottom, like I said, kind of like a book, which I think is a pretty cool effect. Next we have the little dummy, and this is the one that really made me question the value. My god, this guy costs the same as the others. It's ridiculous. And of course, this is one I definitely remember. And this guy here kind of gives me Clayface vibes. You Can't Scare Me. I definitely read all 5 of these at one point. These are from the earlier books. And finally, the Scarecrow Walks in Midnight. Could probably definitely do some with that, even though it'll be smaller than I'd like. Of course, get them all. It looks like you can build this figure. Looking forward to seeing what's up with that. So with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now that we've got these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. The only figure that comes with its own accessory is Little Boy with the Mask. So we have 5 different figures from 5 different Goosebumps stories. Little Kid with the Mask, the Mummy, the Dummy, the Scarecrow, and the Mud Monster. And of course, as a bonus, if you buy all 5 of these figures, you get to collect to build the Curly the Skeleton. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually. We'll check out their accessories, height, articulation, and we'll compare them with some other action figures. At the same time, we'll continue to build Curly toward the end. So let's start off by taking a look at the little boy with the mask. Here's a look at the little girl with the mask on from the Haunted Mask. Her name is Carly Beth. I believe she got this mask from an old shopkeeper, and there's a huge backstory behind that. And she wore that to scare her brother, but then the mask started to take over. She couldn't take it off and spent kind of the whole book fighting with the mask, eventually getting it off, and I believe at the end her brother picks up the mask and puts it on, starting the cycle again. So, she comes with the right leg of Curly, a display stand, and what looks like her head on a pike. So, here's a display stand. You can see it's a cover of R.L. Stine Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask. On the back, there's a little description. If you want to read that, pause now. And display stand doesn't do too much for me. Looks like a bunch of slime, but yeah. And of course, we have this little skeleton leg. Doesn't really do much by itself, but if you get the whole set, then we have what looks like her head on a stick. And then the actual figure. There is that infamous green mask with the fangs, pointed ears, stuck to her face. She had overalls, sort of a purple shirt going on. Articulation's pretty basic. The arms simply move up and down, and it looks pretty hideous. You can see the back there when it's not in the pose it's intended for. Gripping hand to hold the accessory. The legs go forward and back. The head rotates around, so it looks like 5 points of articulation. And you can't even really use this for a background character because it has this hideous mask on. And a closer look at the mask, face, and head sculpt. Here she is, holding onto that accessory. And now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and the accessory, let's check out her height. It is a pretty small figure, but it's supposed to be a child as well. From bottom to the top of the head, about 4.75 inches tall, which can translate to about 12 centimeters. Next, we have the mummy from the Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Basically, three relatives are exploring a pyramid, and they sort of invoke the Curse of the Mummy. They don't believe in it, but the mummy comes around. We've seen mummies plenty of times before. It's basically a man wrapped in gauze. I like the kind of detail, the extra little bit sort of hanging off there. It has the same 5 points for articulation. Fairly basic looking figure, but not bad by any means. A little bit shorter than I'd like. He does come with the left leg of Curly. And he has that same display stand. As you can see, Goosebumps, Curse of Mummy's Tomb. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read it, pause. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit smaller and more basic than I'd like. I do like that extra little strap hanging out of the eye hole. Nice little extra detail. And now for his height. From bottom to the top, about 5.4 inches tall, which can translate to just under 14 centimeters. And this should be about full grown man. So I guess it's a 5+ inch action figure scale line. Here's this mummy next to a few NECA 7-inch Universal Monster Mummy figures. The regular version, the black and white version, and the glow-in-the-dark version. Next, we have the dummy. I very specifically remember this book. Dummies can be creepy, and dummies come alive, etc., etc. Now, this figure is the worst value of all of them because he's so small and he costs the same as the rest. It's probably why he comes the biggest Build-A-Figure piece. So, let's take a look. We got the little dummy there. You can see his mouth. Looks like it should go up and down, but it doesn't. Green eyes, fake sort of wooden-looking head and eyebrows, etc. Bow tie. One thing I really don't like is his hip there. You can kind of see inside and see the sort of white joint in there. Very, very ugly. You cannot push it. I tried and tried and tried. Articulation looks to be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. I like the figure, but it's ridiculous that this guy costs the same as the other ones. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It looks about perfect for what it's supposed to be. A fake dummy. And for the accessories, of course, we have the same display stand. Goosebumps, Night of the Living Dummy. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, you know what to do. And then we have the main piece of Curly the skeleton. He's got the pink mohawk, the glasses, the sort of handkerchief. It looks good for what it is, but I don't know. I was definitely never asking for this guy. And for his height, he's by far the shortest one. From bottom to the top of the head, about 4.1 inches tall, which would translate to about 10.5 centimeters. Here's this dummy next to a wrestling dummy. Now, this guy seems like he's big enough to work with 6 or 7 inch scale figures. And that is one complaint I'll have about him, is he has nowhere to sort of put an action figure's hand up him and sort of control him. Most of the other dummy figures that I have that sort of stuff, like a big pocket here. You can have somebody sort of holding, controlling, ventriloquisting the dummy. Here's this dummy next to all of my Batman Scarface figures. Scarface is a dummy that the ventriloquist uses. These are all different Scarface figures, except for the one on the far right. That's Snoots. I think he got swapped out for Scarface in an episode of The Batman. And then here he is, with a bunch of other sort of hand puppets. These are mostly from wrestling figures. And now for the Scarecrow from the Goosebumps book. The Scarecrow walks at midnight. There's always something creepy about a scarecrow at nighttime in the farm. So it looks like a traditional scarecrow. He's got the farmer's hat, the burlap sack for his face. You can see the bottom of it around his neck. Looks kind of creepy with a smile and red eyes. His arms almost look like they're sticks or trees gnarled up. He's got little patches on his pants. More burlap sacks for his shoes. Same articulation as the other guys, 5 points. He looks good, and I thought maybe it'd be cool to put him onto my Batman Scarecrow shelf. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. shadow on the hat. Kind of makes it hard to see the eyes, but they are painted inside of there. It looks good and creepy, albeit basic. Now for the accessories, we have that same display stand. Goosebumps, the Scarecrow walks at midnight. On the back, there's the description. And then we also have, I believe, the right arm of Curly. Of course, it's going to be holding and reading Goosebumps book. And for his height, from bottom to the top of his head, about 5.75 inches tall, which can translate to 14.5 centimeters. And here he is with some of my favorite Scarecrow figures by Mafex, Mattel, DC Direct, and McFarlane. And then here's my entire collection of Scarecrow action figures. Looks like we have one more to add to the mix. And now, let's look at the Mud Monster from You Can't Scare Me. I thought this guy would be pretty cool to add to my Clayface shelf. So, taking a look at him, it's like a dripping, gooey sort of poop monster. Clayface. Perfect. Different shades of brown, really dark, medium, and really light. Stuff is just dripping off of him. Looks like he has even less articulation than the other ones. Looks like 1, 2, 3, and that is it. Points for articulation. No legs. I mean, he looks good for what he is. He's basic, but he's a mud monster, and he definitely serves that purpose. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think it came out pretty good. Now for the accessories. We have Curly's left hand, then just sort of dangling there. Then we have the cover of Goosebumps, You Can't Scare Me, Mud Monster. There's the description. And here he is with some of my favorite Clayface figures by McFarlane and Mattel. And then here are absolutely all the Clayface figures in my collection. He is my favorite Batman villain. And finally, let's put together Curly. He comes in 5 separate pieces. When fully assembled, he looks like this. It's by far the worst of these figures. It's kind of like an afterthought. I mean, they did not put much effort into this guy, it feels like. He's very thin, very sort of rubbery. You can sort of stretch him out. Looks like a poor man's crypt keeper, and I think that's sort of the idea. Skeleton guy, reading the stories, but sort of kittied up a little bit. Sort of has articulation where you assemble the pieces together, but it just wants to sort of come out. Like I said, it's not really well done. It's very gummy and rubbery. There is, I guess, sort of a piece of articulation in the middle there. And like I said, the pieces you connect can kind of move. I don't know. I mean, it's cool to get an extra figure, but he's very disappointing. I do like the fact that he's holding that Goosebumps book, though. Beyond that, fairly unimpressive. I mean, I guess technically, you see what I mean? Technically, he has articulation at the 2 sort of shoulders and the 2 hips. Pretty sure he's got a point here, and the head does not seem to move. Here he is, next to a couple of NECA creep show creep figures that can't make the Crypt Keeper, so this is the best we can get. Here are all these Goosebump characters walking through the city streets, causing terror and horror, Scholastic style. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in, both scale and style-wise, in case you all know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're Treat Studios Goosebump figures, they seem to be, I don't know, 5-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines that I collect, and work my way larger. Here they are, with some Jazzwares Fortnite and SH Figure Arts action figures. And now, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends and Mafex figures. Here they are, with several cans of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. And here they are, with some Mattel and Mezco figures. Then, with both some Jazzwares and Mattel wrestling figures. Next, with some NECA and DC Direct figures. And finally, with some McFarlane and Diamond Select toys. So overall, these are some horrible action figures. I mean, some of them look kind of cool. So, probably my favorite is going to be the Mud Monster. He looks cool. He's going to be nice on my Clayface shelf. Paint looks good. Figure's basic, but it looks decent. And then I'd say the dummy. He's going to be pretty cool as a background dummy for the ventriloquist, Scarface, maybe in a nightclub, that sort of stuff. But God, he is not worth the money. He is so damn little. Then I'd probably say Scarecrow. And at this point, he's a little bit too small to fit in with my Scarecrow characters, but he could be a background Scarecrow in a farm, I don't know, whatever. Then before that, I guess the mummy. I don't really need a mummy this small, but I kind of like some of the uniqueness of some of the bandages, and he looks okay. Then we have that little kid with the mask on, pre-posed in this horrible style. And then the worst one is going to be the Build-A-Figure, Curly the Skeleton. That action figure sucks so bad. It might be the worst action figure I have ever held in my entire life, and that is a bold statement because I have so many. He is just so damn bad, and he looks stupid and goofy as well. It's a cool idea. There's some nostalgia if you like Goosebumps, but they're just a little bit too small and basic for my liking. Definitely put Mudman and the dummy to really good use. The rest of them, not so much. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.